Hello, my name's Bob Damron. And I'm a labor union activist. I've been with the American Postal Workers Union for over 40 years. And believe it or not, despite being a member of that union for over 40 years, my own president of that union, APW for short, would not nominate me or appoint me, whatever you want to call it, to the San Francisco Labor Council as a delegate from the APW. And now because of what is actually, to me, a minor misunderstanding, it's not even that serious, comparatively speaking. Another person in the same labor union, withdrew her support for me, feeling that I had done something wrong, when I didn't feel the same way at all. In fact, if you say something and, like especially after 2-3 months, when the person agreed to help me become a delegate, and I'd say something 2-3 months or more after that, I don't think she should be holding me in contempt or whatever you want to call it, like she has. Yes, it's a she. But in fact, she has. So now I have this. But in fact, I have this president of my union and this other person who is supposed to be my supporters, who are both interfering with me negatively as far as being a delegate to the San Francisco Labor Council, despite being in my own union for over 40 years and probably paying the equivalent of something like over $20,000, enough to buy a new car or more. And yet I don't get this kind of support. It's all about playing union games. And I'm tired of playing union games because as a reputable member of my own union for all these years, I feel that I've been discriminated against for whatever reason. Maybe because I wasn't that supportive of the president of the union in his bid to be re-elected on several occasions. But that should be neither here nor there. If you're going to play inside union politics, you're going to hurt the basic foundation of the union itself. Because a president of the union should be a president for all the people, not just his own clique or her own clique, whatever. And I feel that the same about this lady who said she was supporting me, and then bang, just like that, she withdrew support in my becoming a delegate to the San Francisco Labor Council. This is totally wrong. You have to put your own personal biases and prejudices behind you. And how is it that she felt I was the right person for this job, that she was supporting me, then all of a sudden she doesn't support me anymore? And I feel this is very disgraceful. But there are members in the union who have supported me to become a delegate to the San Francisco Labor Council. And in fact, the retiree group, APW retiree group, has picked me to be a delegate for the last, maybe 3 years or so now, to the Forum, the Federation of Retired Union Members. And they are affiliated with the San Francisco Labor Council. So here, I pay very little dues, or whatever you want to call it, to belong to a little bit, where I'm paying for the regular union dues, even though I'm retired and wouldn't have to still belong to me. I'm paying about $50 a month, or a little over, and I'm getting evidently better representation at the Labor Council through the Forum. And they did want, although it didn't work out right this way, but there were people there at the Forum who wanted to pick me to be a delegate to the San Francisco Labor Council. And I never paid $20,000 or whatever for my dues over all the years. And yet my own union, American Postal Workers Union, the active union, not the retired part, but the union as a whole, the San Francisco branch, never saw fit to support me to become a delegate to the San Francisco Labor Council. And I think that's very disgraceful. I mean, sometimes you have to go, in fact, I think all the time you should try to go above and beyond yourself when you're representing the union, and even more so if you're the president of the union, or trustee or an officer, you should try to support the union and build the strength of the union, not by playing games against union members, especially something like what I was just mentioning. Being a delegate to the San Francisco Labor Council, it's not even a paid position. I do that on my own time, and sure, I represent the union, but I have a right to certain personal feelings about certain topics and that come up at Labor Council meetings, but still, I'm not even getting paid for it, and the fact that they decided, that they're not supporting me for that, people like the president of the union and now this other person, this lady backing away from supporting me, it's very sad. I think imagine how these people are probably more friendly towards people who don't even pay money dues. In some cases, they're probably more supportive of people who aren't union members but work in post office than they are towards me. And I'm the one who's been much more directly involved. I go to most of the union meetings, and I've been involved there. And a lot of times at the union meetings I've seen disruptions in that, and usually I'm not involved with that. It seems like maybe the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Anyway, that's my story. There's much more to it than this. This is chapter 1. This is chapter 1, and thank you.
Bobby, I have a question. Do you think they're discriminating you because you have sometimes you're very outspoken and you're very independent person and you're not conformist to the ideas of the power, and you're very outspoken because you have that right to be yourself, and then maybe you were very outspoken against Obama because it's your right to speak up your mind.
Oh, definitely. I'm not as outspoken as I should be because I try it in good measure. I don't want to take over the show. There's other people who want to talk to the union too. So I'm sure there's a lot of times I could have brought up things, but sometimes if it's just more on the personal level, then where I don't have, if I have an axe to grind, so to speak, I don't want to keep bringing it up at the union meetings because people aren't there to just listen to me. So I've had a lot of ideas and thoughts at union meetings I've had a lot of thoughts and ideas at union meetings that in some cases didn't directly affect the other workers, so I just held back, kept it to myself. But there are a lot of times when I think the union has been going astray, and because the union has the clique, there are cliques in the union, and I don't think that's fair to where union members work together or they support each other, but they don't support other union members. I think there are cliques in the union, and I don't think that's fair to the people who aren't, as members of such cliques or aren't into cliquishness, so to speak. And not only that, the union obviously is not very democratic. If the union were much more democratic than they were,
and they're more open to the members.
Right, I think you'd see more members go to union meetings. I think our union has a very bad reputation. Many unions do, national, state, local. Many unions have problems with the members, not just ours. But the fact is that a lot of members don't go to union meetings because they know that the unions have been corrupted or they're in control by a few, a very small majority controlling many. Look at the U.S. Congress, how they're controlling a country of 300 million plus people. And it's very few, it's not even 1% of the population up there. But it's the same in the union. We've got a very small number of people doing most of the manipulation and control of our own union. And that's by no standard can you call that democracy in action. In fact, a lot of these people don't want democracy. They want their own control, and a lot of them, I think, are working for their own benefit instead of for the benefit of the union members as a whole. And this is what has to stop if we want to make the union a strong part and strong organization arm of the workers in this country. And I think we need to support both labor union workers and non-labor union workers, because if we start supporting all workers more and more, and they realize how strong and powerful the unions are, if we get up to that point again, you're going to find that many of the non-labor union workers going to want to join their, start up their own union. And we have a lot of workers probably over 90% of private workers who are not in union. So we have a lot of organizing to do, and I think we can do it. But we need to change the laws too, especially at both the federal and state levels, and of course at the local level too. And we have to start somewhere. And also, if the unions get involved, an injury to one is an injury to all, then you're going to bring up, and they really believe in that, you're going to have a lot more people, non-union and union alike, who are going to say, they're going to start saying, I can start trusting the unions again, or I can trust the unions again. Because that's the problem. The unions, even within their own ranks, there's a lot of distrust, and that's no accident. The way the unions have been manipulated for many years. The Teamster Union, for example, was infiltrated by organized crime, and that's one of the biggest unions in the country. And that's a reflection on all unions, even if you're not controlled by organized crime. The fact is, people wonder, well, is it or isn't it? Is this a union I can trust, or is this a union I can't trust?
So what is your advice for the other union members that have been discriminated because of their different politics and belief?
Well, I think they should find, and I don't mean a clique, I think union workers need to work together and say, have their own meetings, even outside of the regular union, to find out who union members are. Because we have maybe 1,300, 1,400 members in our local San Francisco APW union. I think union members should seek out each other, have their own meetings, organize outside of the union hall, organize among themselves. They have every right to do that. I have a right to do it because this is supposed to be a democratic country. And then organize to the point where, say, at union meetings, they can bring a block, and they can have people working together. Maybe they could be Mormon, they could be Catholic, they could be whatever, right? But they could come together. They know what they are, they know who they are, and they know what they have to do to change the union. And then go to union meetings, not just one or two people, but maybe 20, 30, even 50 or 100 people who are organized, and say, we're going to change this union, whether you like it, Mr. President, or not. And whether you like it, members, or not, we're going to make this a better union. We're going to make this a democratic union like it should have been all the way along. And we're not going to play favorites. If we have people that we feel can be very representative of the principles, democratic principles of the union, we'll let them, if they qualify and we have the positions open, we'll let them be delegates from the APWU to the San Francisco Labor Council. We'll encourage them to run for local office and maybe eventually for higher office like state or national. And that way we won't have a union that's of many that's dominated by the few. A union of many dominated by the few. We'll have a truly democratic union, and this can be done. You have to be organized. Like I was reading a book on, I think called Democracy in Action. It's I believe Labor Notes out of the Detroit, Michigan area, and they talk about union, ways that union can be democratized. And this is basically what I'm talking about, what I just said about workers. You can work together, even though maybe at first you might not have like that many people involved in labor union meetings at our local American Postal Workers Union headquarters in San Francisco.